You know, I feel like at my age, I've, as a coach, worked with so many profiles. You know, I've done the DISC and the Myers-Briggs and a whole lot of different behavioural tools. I feel like I've been there, done that with all of them, but I have never worked with anything that measures love and compassion. And what the hell does the world need right now? Love and compassion. And we're looking for organisations, we want leaders who are heart-centred and know how to work with love, compassion, forgiveness. We've got great examples in the world right now of leaders who are not doing this and leaders who are doing it. And we know what it is as human beings that we want. And the being profile gets to the heart of that. It's quite profound for me, quite profound. My name's Helen Robinett. I'm a leadership coach and I help women with their reputation management, and I work with senior women in business to help them to basically get on boards. And they're at a stage where they've reached the pinnacle in their career, they're well educated, and they've done the career, they've done the family, they've done all the things, and they're in a space where they feel they can be of contribution. And they would like to be that on a board that fits with their value system. So they're connected to their higher purpose. They know there's more. They're aware of that. And they really want to make a difference in that space. So, you know, they're good at what they do. They've got all the experience, and sometimes they don't look the brand, they don't sound it. And I have a framework and a methodology where I help them to work with their power base so that organisations can see that they need this person. They really need this woman on their board. And that's what I do. Why do I do it? I've been on a few boards myself. I can see what difference a woman makes on a board when she comes from a place of purpose, of higher purpose. And I see some men on boards just ticking a box because their organisation says they've got to be there. And, you know, and I've observed over the years the impact that women have and the difference they make. And from my experience in my stage of life, I see that men and women work so well together. And if we can have more women on boards where there are a lot of men on boards, that makes a massive difference to us as a community and in our society. So I know it works. I know I've got the tools and the frameworks to do that, and I'm here to make that difference. I'm here to serve. So the being profile is that the best way that I like to describe it is that it's an inquiry. It's a conversation of discovery, and it's an ontological tool, and it really focuses on our ways of being in life and our health in regard to our ways of being. So there's no good, bad, right, wrong. It's just, here's how we look at your health to this particular score, this particular way of being. And that's how it is. So it's, you know, it opens up a whole new possibility. You know, there's I think, you know, just coming back to, it's an inquiry. You know, we have an inquiry, and there's a great safety for the client because nothing's wrong. There's nothing wrong. You're not bad, good, right, wrong. It's an inquiry. It's a really safe place to be, and the great awareness and opportunity that comes from that. So what coaching looks like with the being profile is that we work from the strengths of the being profile, and we look at where we need to improve the aspects of health, and we use that as a guide and as a tool. So what coaching looks like without the being profile, it can be a stab in the dark, and the client can say, look, I've got these issues that I want to work on. And so we're working on all of those things that they say, but then there's all of this underlying stuff that we don't know about. And the being profile just goes straight to that. So there's no missing it. So we get access to what it is that we really need to work on, because as a human being, I think it's this, but it's not ever just that. there's always a whole lot of stuff that goes on underneath it as well that I'm not even conscious of, but the Being Profile brings that up. So that's the beauty of it. So I'm finding that I'm coaching clients for a shorter amount of time as opposed to a longer amount of time. I get to the stage where I'm saying, okay, fired, we're done. We're actually done. You've got this, we're done. Instead of them just lagging on and on and on, which I've seen happen. I've seen that happen in the past, but not with the Being Profile. It's okay, let's get into this, get this done, and then you're fired, baby, out the door. It's because you've got this handled now, it's okay. Forgiveness is one of the ways of being that we have on the Being Profile. And it's about the ability to forgive, to powerfully forgive and move on. So it's not forgive and forget. It's not forgive, but I won't forget. It's about forgive and move on. Like, there's a difference. There's a real difference there. And during the Thrive coaching program, we got into some pretty heavy conversations around this, and some of us were, oh yeah, well, I can forgive, but I can't forget. Well, that's not the distinction. It's actually not the distinction. And there's freedom there for me to be able to forgive and move on, which means I don't revisit. I don't come back to it. It's about that powerfully forgiving and moving on, because that then sets me free in life. And it's really, really powerful having these conversations with clients about the whole forgive and move on, as a way of being, and it's not just something that you say, it's in our being to be able to do that. And it takes something, right? It actually takes something. Well, what? Once my coachee really got this distinction around forgiveness, she was just constantly forgetting things, turning up late, having a wall up and her defences up. In every conversation with her boss, she was defensive. With her family, defensive. Like she kind of had her boxing gloves on or something. And once she got this distinction of to powerfully forgive and move on, it was like the gloves came off. And it opened up for her to have a different relationship with her boss. So instead of her waiting for, what's he going to say? Is it going to be something that I need to knock him out over and have that sarcasm in my tongue? So she stopped listening for that stuff. And it just opened up a whole new way of being for her at work and with her family. And now to be having those conversations with her now, I'm going, oh my goodness, it's incredible. It's incredible how one teeny tiny little way of being has a massive impact on the whole of life. So if she's shifting her way of being with her boss, and then when she's looking at getting into a whole new career space, and then if someone contacts her manager for a reference and says, well, tell us about Jane, there's going to be a different conversation there about who Jane is now compared to who Jane was 6 months ago. Really different, so that's powerful, So there's so many ways of being. There's just one that we can make a difference with. It's a beautiful transformation with Jane because there's lightness about her. There's not so much heaviness now, there's a real lightness there, and she'll have a joke with me. We'll have a laugh and have a joke and have some lovely conversation. It's not heavy or negative. So there's, the experience I have in being in communication with her now is that there's some lightness, and I'm noticing that she's proud of herself with what's happening at work, and she's getting some positive feedback, which is really beautiful, and given given the upbringing that she's had and the experience in her background, it's just beautiful to witness this lightness with her. You know, I'm loving that. Yeah, I feel like a little bit of a mother duck with her, actually. It's really lovely. I'm not that. I'm her coach. I'm not a mother duck, but you know, I feel that way. So I've been working with the Being Profile for a couple of years now, and going through the accreditation program really took me to a different level. And there were things that I learned that I just had no idea existed. You know, like reading through the Being Profile is one thing. Being in conversation and going through the accreditation and just drilling down into those distinctions is absolutely another. You know, going through that whole accreditation system just took me next level. You know, I think that's the best way that I can describe it. And I've had a couple of experiences. I've had my own profile debriefed twice, and the first was when I just started, and then I had it done again more recently. So, you know, with having more muscle around it myself. And it was really powerful experience for me. But I know the accreditation process really made a difference for me, just to drill down deeper into those distinctions. And it's made me a better coach. I'm better able to serve my clients by being accredited. So I think once we've gone through the Being Profile and they can see where they've got, you know, healthy relationship here and they're not so healthy there, then there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity to step up and shift and grow. Because if they look at what it is that they want to achieve for their life, and then they can see what it is that's stopping them, there's an opportunity for a paradigm shift. So, you know, there's possibility there to do some coaching around those aspects, because what I know for sure is that we can't interrupt our own patterns. I cannot coach myself, for goodness sake. I can't. I don't know anybody who can self-coach. Good luck with that one. You know, I'd like to see how that works for you. I've never seen it work successfully before, but somebody externally can interrupt those patterns and help you with those ways of being. And that's where the opportunity for coaching can occur. And it's powerful. It is powerful. Every time I've gone through a program of coaching for myself, I have had quantum shift that I would never have done for myself. No way. Yeah, I've got this amazing example of working with a client, and you know, went through she completed the profile, and then we met online. So we've met on a Zoom call, and we're going through, and she said to me, "I feel like you've read my mind. I feel like you know me, and I feel like I can trust you. I feel safe here." And I thought, wow. And she said, I've never done anything like this before. I've never spoken to anyone about any of these things, and I feel like you know me. And that was because of what the profile brought up. And of course, I have an ability to have people feel safe with me. You know, that's a given. That's just there you go, that's a way of being, isn't it? You know, like there's authenticity that I can just make people feel safe. And, you know, and she, in that moment, she just chose to trust me. And that, you know, that moment will stay with me, because that was just really powerful. I thought, wow, that was a crack Helen's heart open moment. That was just so beautiful. I love that. Well, there was no place to hide. After that, there was nowhere to hide. There was authenticity was present. She wasn't making up any stories with me. She was just quite raw and authentic, and it was just amazing. So we were able to just get into spaces that might have taken some time without that. So it was, yeah, just really great. You know, such a privilege to coach this amazing woman. Such a beautiful experience for me, and so rewarding for her, because she decided that she could trust. You know, she chose that it was okay, she was safe to trust me with these conversations. And at no stage did I react with, whoa, you've got to be kidding. Oh, did that really happen? And then what? You know, it was just holding the space, being true, working with what was in the profile, and yeah, it was just incredible. So I'm working at the moment with a client who's really challenged with one of her prime relationships in her life, you know, where you've got mother, father, husband, sister, brother, whatever it is, one of those prime relationships, which are the toughest ones to deal with. And she's got some real challenge going on here. And she, some weeks ago, said, you know, well, I could forgive, but I won't forget. I won't forget. And you know, from the Thrive coaching program, we got into the conversation because everything I'm learning in the program, I'm bringing back into my coaching clients. Of course, that's what's happening. And I said to her, I said, so what's it costing you? What's it costing you to not forgive? You know, like I'm wondering, it's got to be tiring. And she actually is quite exhausted. So it's hard work for her. And you know, we're a few weeks down the track from that conversation now, and she's now at a stage where she's so aware of how it is, and she's starting to see things from this other person's point of view. And she's opening her heart to forgive and move on, you know, and that's a really powerful space to be in. Now, once we started working together, I thought, this is never going to happen. She's never going to get there. There's been so much damage done. It's not going to work. And we're now in that space, and it's kind of like it cracks my heart right open to look at what's possible here, because when we can mend and put some love back into those prime relationships, everything else changes in life. Everything, you know, it makes such a difference. So I was really challenged with, will I do the Thrive coaching program or not? Because I was going, you know, we were having it was a really challenging time business-wise, and it would just, you know, like, it seemed like, how do I invest in this right now? It's not a good time, there's stuff going on. And I had to really sit and think about that, and I just decided that it was really important for me to do it. You know, got kind of lost my mojo, had been lacking in some confidence, and I took the leap and dived in, and it's been the best thing that I could have done. I'm so glad I did. I'm so grateful that I made the decision to dive in and do this, because it's really shifting my bottom line now. It's making a big difference, you know, I'm loving it. I thought that I was heading into this Thrive coaching program so that I could strengthen my muscle and become a better coach. And what I walked away with was far more than that. And I did get that for sure. I picked up new business, I shifted my own way of being around my coaching practice, and that was different for sure. But the thing that I really wasn't expecting was that the environment created by the Ingenesis team with the Thrive coaching program, you know, the environment that they created and the safety, and as a group of coaches we were able to be completely vulnerable, and from there relationships built, partnerships formed, and we're now in a very great conversation around working on a major project that's going to make a huge difference, you know, and I was not expecting that, you know. I've also become quite present to the fact that there will be clients who will come my way that I'm not the best person to serve them. So we've got a conversation going around partnership of, how can you as another coach assist me with that? You know, like, can you look after these clients, because I'm not going to be in a space to do that because I'm busy with this flavour over here. So we're having such a rich conversation, and the collaboration that's going down is amazing. It's just amazing. So some of these coaches I know, most of them I didn't, but I'm in a space now where I'm going, wow, I really trust these people, and I would absolutely wholeheartedly work with them, and we're going to make a massive difference. So I'm quite excited about that, and that's something that I was not expecting in my wildest dreams. So the Thrive program, it runs weekly, and it goes from, it's 2.5 hours a week. And it's pretty intensive, you know, it's interactive, and you know, we work in pairs and in teams, practicing aspects of ways of being, and then we're learning. So there's some theory and there's some practice. Basically, that's probably the easiest way to describe it. But that's not where the learning happens. The learning happens outside of that environment. So we have a buddy system. We're buddied up. We go through and do the online quiz with our buddy. We have homework to do every week. We're in conversation with our buddy, and you know, there's a real richness there just in that buddy relationship. And you know, and then we're coaching with our clients. We're talking to our buddy, and there's so much goes on outside. We're also receiving some brilliant coaching from the master coach in the program. So every fortnight there's this personal coaching session that occurs, which is really powerful, kind of worth it just for that, like just for that. But the great source for me and the learning really comes outside of the formal learning environment. You know, who would have thought that'd be possible? You know, we're constantly on we've got a WhatsApp group going, we're in conversation, and we're actively working it the whole time. It's a beautiful collaborative community, and I'm actually really proud to be part of it. I'm loving it. I don't want it to finish. I'm looking forward to getting that time back in my week, but I don't want it to finish. It's brilliant, and there are relationships I've formed there that will be lifelong for me.